Alright, welcome back to another video on ratios. Today we're talking about a second type of question called total remains unchanged. So what do we understand from this term, total remains unchanged? So let's say there is a ratio of two items, A is to B. So internal transfer takes place. And what does this internal transfer refer to? Let's say A gives some things to B, but B doesn't give it to an external party or doesn't get more from somewhere else. So, in theory, the total between A and B actually didn't change, even though the ratio of items between A and B changes. Why? Because A transferred some to B, maybe B gained some, A lost some, then their ratio changed. But in total, the total quantity actually doesn't change. It only it is only transferred between each other, the two parties. So how do we use this knowledge to our advantage? We can actually look at an example. The ratio of farmer A's chickens to farmer B's chickens is 1:3. After farmer B gave farmer A 9 chickens, the ratio became 2:3. So with this knowledge, we actually know that actually in total, farmer A and farmer B's chickens are the same from start to finish. It's just that in between this process, farmer A got some chickens, but farmer B maybe had less chickens. But in total, the number of chickens still stay the same. So let's understand our information. At first, there is 1:3, and our total is 4. But after it became 2:3, so it's normal because they had some exchange, and their total becomes 5. And like one side remains unchanged, we actually understand that the total here, this number, and this number, actually they refer to the same thing. So how do you make it obvious that they refer to the same thing? We make this number the same. And how to do that? We find the lowest common multiple between the two numbers, which is 4 and 5, and in this case it gives 20. And then we multiply the respective numbers to get to 20. So for this side is 5, and for that side is 4. So we multiply throughout, and then we'll get a ratio. And then we see that actually now 20 and 20, they are the same. They refer to the same thing. So we can also see that how many units actually change. And something interesting to note is that you see here, B actually lost 3 units while A gained 3 units. So the 3 units refers to the same thing as well. Because if you remember, the B gave to A. So B lost 3 units. But in the end, A gained 3 units. So actually with this, we can find a 1 unit already, which is 3. And then we want to find farmers A's chickens at first. So we multiply 5 by the value of 1 unit, which is 15. So again, let's look at another example. The ratio of A's 10-cent coins to B's 10-cent coins was 4:5 at first. After A took 5 of B's 10-cent coins, the ratio became 1:1. How much money did A have at first? So actually the end part is a bit more complicated because we need to multiply it by the value of the 10-cent coins and 10-cent coins. So we will need to find how many 10-cent coins A had at first, and we can still use the same concept. So let's look at it. A is to B, the number of 10-cent coins at first is 4:5, and our total is 9. But in the end, it became 1:1, which is 2. Same thing, since we know that actually this is an internal transfer, the total still remains the same. We make the number under the total the same by finding their lowest common multiple, which is 18. And then we multiply the numbers needed to actually get 18, which is 2 here and 9 here. And then we'll get our 8:10 and 9:9. And same thing, we realize that the difference is actually the same for both. So 1 unit actually represents 5. And how many 10-cent coins did A have at first? 8 units of 10-cent coins. So it's 40. And 40 10-cent coins gives you 400 cents. So a summary of this chapter. Identify information or question, same thing, and write down the before after ratios. But in this case, we also have to remember to include an extra column of total, and then we make the number and the total the same because the total remains unchanged. Then we find the difference, and then we find the value of one unit, and then we can solve our question. So actually, the steps to solve the question is rather standard, but what we actually need to understand and reinforce our uh, reinforce our ideas on is actually the whole concept of the different types of questions. So there will be more videos after on, and yeah, we will all be explaining different concepts that are useful in the topic of ratios. So good luck.